Hello, welcome to Sideways. I can't remember anything about anything we spoke about this week, but those birds sounded so beautiful this morning. I thought it was too good an opportunity to miss. So I'm just going to tell you that the mornings are getting lighter, which is magnificent, that it's incredibly muddy out here, and it'll be a miracle if I don't fall over. And I've lost one of my dogs. I don't know where she's gone. And this week we spoke about body language. Nelly! Nell! Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Oh, I don't know if you connected to audio when I said good morning, so I'd said good morning and you didn't respond to me. I thought perhaps you were in a mood.
No, it hadn't. It didn't. No.
I was premature.
You were slightly. It's just that just as I was logging on, it said, it says this message is being recorded. It sounded like you were speaking over that.
Yeah, it's because I almost forgot to press record.
Oh dear, we've done that.
It's been a while since I did that, isn't it?
Yeah, I know we've done it a couple of times, which is...
It's funny, isn't it, when it happens?
I think it's the closest I've seen you to being annoyed.
Yeah.
A long time.
Perhaps I'm getting old, but the thought of forgetting to press record and having to record it again, there's a big part of me that think, no, let's not bother.
Not do it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know we had to record it on a Monday night or something, didn't we? After doing it on a Sunday, we're just too fatigued after going through it all.
That's when we were young and keen, isn't it?
Yeah. And naive.
Yeah.
Many moons ago. Anyway, you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. Yeah.
You haven't come down with the flu that's going round then?
No, there seems to be it seems to be sniping quite a few people. I know we've had problems at work with but people not turning up. They're too ill.
I expect we'll all have bird flu soon anyway.
Oh yeah, it'll all come round when it all comes round in cycles.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough moaning.
Cycles, you had your bike nicked, didn't you, once?
I did, yes. Yeah, what's that? Well, I don't know why you find that funny.
I don't know why. I don't know. I remember when you told me the first time, it really tickled me. So
yeah, well, it disturbed me. So you're reveling in
I found it funny.
Well, yeah, you're reveling in my discomfort, which it doesn't do. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk. Well, I came across a phrase recently that I really liked.
Yeah.
That I wanted to explore. It's the phrase is body language is a silent orchestra, and I thought I liked that. In my mind, I don't know what vision that conjures up, but I could either see a lot of people sitting down in this sort of orchestral form without any instruments at all, and doing all the movements, or the orchestra was behind a plate glass that you could hear. It was soundproofed. I don't know how you see the image.
Yes, so I suppose what it says to me, it says to me the first thing that you said, which is you see all the movement, but there's no instruments.
No instruments there, yeah.
So you have to make it up in your head, don't you? You have to kind of work out what's going on here then.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first thought. It's a relevant topic to what we talk about because I watch people's body language change significantly during the early stages of recovery. But I think it's something perhaps we should all be better at reading because sometimes it gives us clues that perhaps we don't pick up on. So that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, don't they say, isn't there a statistic that says something like over 70% of communication is down to body language? And so if you don't have any... If you can't see someone, an enormous amount of communication is lost, regardless of what's being said. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't like using the telephone.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah. You can't see what's going on sometimes, can you?
Yeah, I don't like it.
But it's all the non-verbal communication we're talking about here, isn't it? But anyway, before we start, before we crack on with it, just a couple of points. There was a story I read about a bloke in Northern Ireland. He called the police because he saw someone walking down the street dressed in yellow. No, which is...
Well, that was all.
That was all, yes.
What did he think was happening then?
Well, he thought it was a bit like, have you watched Breaking Bad?
No, obviously not. It's too popular.
Yeah, no, I think the guy was dressed up in one of those yellow overalls. It was
Like a jumpsuit.
yeah, which I think. But if you're up to something dodgy, you probably wouldn't be wearing yellow because it would make you stand out, wouldn't it? But he thought it was suspicious anyway.
Yeah, unless it was a double bluff.
It could have been, I suppose, couldn't it?
So, for instance, if you wanted to rob a bank,
Yeah,
dressing in a sort of stripy shirt with a mask and a bag with swag written on it,
yeah.
that would you'd probably go unnoticed, wouldn't you? Because people would think, oh, look, he's off to a party or something. Or he's
having a laugh. Yeah,
exactly. And you could wander into HSBC with gay abandon, couldn't you?
You could. Other banks are available to rob.
Yeah, we're not condoning the bank robbery, are we?
Absolutely not. No, very bad.
Yeah.
There's no way forward. But yeah, so that it just caught my eye, that one. I thought it was quite funny. But another headline I liked was, an ordinary street in Nottinghamshire is at the centre of a fruit-based mystery. Which I thought you've got to read on from that, haven't you? You've got to read further once you read that headline. Which was basically someone, for some reason, on the second day of each month, used to leave a plate of peeled bananas in the same place on the road.
Peeled bananas?
Yeah. I saw a picture of it, and there's like 3 bananas that, the skin's taken off, put on a plate and left down beside a bench.
Was there any information about whether anybody came along and ate them?
No, they just laid there till there was complaints in the end. There's people putting notes on the bench saying, please don't leave these here, because they just sort of rot and go messy and go squidgy and
then whoever it was would come along and replace them.
Yeah. On the second day of each month.
Well, that sounds like the sort of art installation that you'd be waxing lyrical about. Oh, no one's ever left 3 peeled bananas by a bench before.
No, true. I hadn't thought of it from an artistic point of view, but people just saw it as annoying.
Perhaps it was a new Banksy.
It could have been, yeah. Using 3D. Yeah, it could have been, couldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, the bananas sit there and decay. Perhaps it says something about the malaise of modern society.
There could be something. You could read a little bit more into that, couldn't you?
I think so. I think people are being a little bit narrow-minded when
I think they're being a little bit hasty about moaning. Yeah, perhaps they should think about it a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
They should sit on the bench and contemplate it, shouldn't they?
Exactly. Sniffing rotting banana.
Anyway, I think they don't know who's doing it, so I think they were even considering setting up cameras.
Good idea.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, if you hear any update on that, I'm sure we'd all be pleased to hear it.
It's a bit of a cliffhanger, isn't it?
It is a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know how I'm going to concentrate on the rest of my day, to be quite honest.
Do you know some more answers? Yeah, no, okay. Well, we'll get on with the rest of the subject matter, and then you can perhaps delve deeper.
Yeah, I'll get onto it. I'll do some investigation. I'm surprised there aren't TikTokers down there doing on-the-spot investigations with all sorts of conspiracy theories.
I was hoping it would be copycatted throughout the country.
Well, we could do it, couldn't we? Here
we could do it now. Yeah,
go down Brenchley Gardens, put a few bananas. Well, would you do bananas, or would it be better to do a different fruit?
I suppose you could use any fruit, really, couldn't you?
You could. I'm just wondering whether it's more of a homage to use bananas, or whether, I don't know, if you put some strawberries or something down there.
I think it's a bit of a homage, because it's a bit like that guy that had that banana gaffer taped to a canvas and called it art. Yeah. So and the yes, to replicate it, you had to use a banana. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough banana talk.
Yeah.
Let's get on.
I'm not mad keen on bananas anyway.
Subject matter, just to define what body language is.
Yeah.
It's the non-verbal messages, including body movements, facial expressions, vocal tone and volume, and other singles that are collectively known as body language. We touched recently, didn't we, on micro expressions, when we talked about facial leakage.
Yeah.
And I wanted to look at the wider aspects of that, if I may.
Well, you may.
Okay, right, okay. Just looking at first at how to read body language. I wanted to go through the rest of what they are, but and I'll briefly touch on the face because although we talked about it in the previous episode, it's always considered the first place to look. Arching eyebrows might indicate an invitation of sorts, and smiling, obviously very straightforward, indicating the other person welcomes you.
Usually.
Potentially, yeah, it could be an ironic smile.
Yeah, it could be. Or a forced smile.
Yeah. Or a forced smile. Like that. That's it. With that sort of laugh.
Like when you make a joke, that's what I do.
That's it. Yeah, well, I rarely make jokes. I'm very bad at delivering jokes.
What I mean is when you try and say something funny.
Oh, yeah, no, I do that. I always say very funny stuff. So, yeah, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you do.
That's it. That's it. It's exactly.
Did you read that body language?
I did, yes. It was, get on with it. I'm getting bored now. The first thing I wanted to look at was mirroring.
It was mirroring?
Mirroring, yeah.
Oh, that's good, because that's exactly what I was thinking about. Interesting.
Okay. Which is the first point that came up when I was doing the research, a common form of body language. It's when you mirror another person's gestures and mannerisms. And it can also include mimicking another person's speech pattern and even attitudes.
Mirroring is a very powerful tool in therapy for building empathy.
Yeah, I know it's a method of building rapport with others, isn't it? Or having a connection.
Yeah.
But when I was thinking about the speech patterns, you probably come across it as well. You get people that live down here in the south who perhaps come from other parts of the country. I remember a girl that used to come to groups and she was Irish. She had a very slight Irish accent, but when she'd been home for a couple of weeks and then come back to groups, you could hardly understand her.
Yeah,
she'd been over there and completely mimicking her original accent, or going back to her original accent, and it still carried over.
Well, it works the other way as well, doesn't it? When people trying to integrate themselves into new communities, sometimes they'll pick up the accent. I think we've spoken about this before, like the infamous Steve McLaren. When he went to manage in, and I think Joey Barton did it, although I don't really want to talk about that scumbag.
No.
And the other closer to home example of that is my brother, who I think we've spoken about before, who went off to North Yorkshire for a couple of weeks when he was a teenager and came back and he's spoken like a Yorkshireman ever since. Calls me our kid. It's completely bizarre.
It is bizarre, but obviously it's fairly common, isn't it?
It is very, I think there is a name for it, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, there is, isn't there? Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. We sort of learn through imitating others, don't we? I think as we're growing up with your peer groups.
And again, I think it's a very worthwhile and valuable method to use when you're trying to acquire a new skill.
It is.
Modeling someone, I think this is an example I've used before. When I was trying to improve my serve at tennis, I started watching professional tennis players, and I thought, well, if I at least try and try and mimic the movements in their body, then probably something will improve. And it did. I mean, I couldn't serve as well as Roger Federer, but I could probably Roger De Courcy. I could probably serve as well as him. Or Roger Melly.
Roger. Well, I think there's lots of Rogers we could go into, but it is. I mean, this imitating others. It is a way of learning, and often it can be unconscious. But I remember back in the corporate days, especially if you're on the sales team, they always used to teach you to sort of mirroring is quite a good way to deal with prospective clients. Yeah, and you sort of listen to them, observe, and mimic, and it tends to produce positive results. So you can use body language as an influential tool.
Yeah, well, I noticed with you, I might have told you this before.
Yeah,
but you, I mean, maybe I do it as well. But there are subtle changes in the way that you speak. When you're with other people.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Do you notice it?
Oh, yeah. No, it's a conscious thing sometimes.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
so you're kind of consciously trying to sort of connect with your voice. I know that's not strictly speaking body language, but it is kind of mirroring and modelling.
It is. I see myself as a bit of a sort of social chameleon. You can fit into most areas. Yeah, again, that was something that I found was really, really useful in the sales environment.
Yeah,
whichever
definitely.
environment you're in, you fitted in, and it created the atmosphere that you could get great results from. But just another thought that came up actually when I was reading through my notes this morning. When do you find it irritating if, I don't know if you come across this, but I know I've seen other people do it, come quite irritated when someone else buys the same clothes as them, or if they suddenly turn up and they're wearing the same shoes as you, or they're almost like cloning you.
Yeah, I mean, I've not experienced it personally, but I do know that people do get frustrated by that. And I've never really understood what this kind of difficulty with two people turning up in the same clothing is, really. I mean,
No.
people find it very embarrassing and awkward, don't they?
They do.
One could say that it's kind of it's quite flattering.
They always say that it is the sincerest form of flattery, isn't it?
Or imitation.
Imitation, yeah, but I think people do find it irritating. Yeah, I know.
I don't think I've never seen anyone dressed like me. Well, apart from some tramps occasionally.
Bob Geldof.
Yeah. Well, that's who I modelled my look on.
No, but I think it reminded me. I know. I remember this guy that used to be quite keen on his on different types of trainers. He'd always spend a lot of money on trainers, and he had someone else that used to come along to groups that started buying exactly the same sort, almost mimic him. And he thought he paid a lot of money for them, so he'd have a unique sort of pair. And then he found someone else was mimicking him, and he got really quite upset about it all.
Yeah, you see, if that happens, I think if that happened to me, I don't think that'd worry me. I'd think, oh, well, that's good. I'm a trailblazer.
Yeah, quite. Yeah.
I'm a fashion icon, I'd think to myself.
It's not a label that's been attached to you in the past, but
No.
Never say never.
No.
Yeah, so that was mirroring. But what about a tilted head? We all come across that.
Well, that's a questioning look, isn't it?
It is a questioning look. If you tilt your head, apparently, if you tilt your head while looking at a baby, the baby relaxes.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, I didn't know that either.
It's funny because if I say a word to the dogs that they recognise, particularly if it's one they like, they tilt their heads at me.
They do, don't they? Doggies do.
Perhaps they're getting me to relax in a way that will make me give them whatever I've just said.
Yeah, ease up and get those bonios out the cupboard. Yeah. Apparently, the same applies to people that are sort of emotionally or in love and connected in that way.
Oh yes, yeah. It's sort of you can tilt the head with a
loving look,
glance, can't you?
You can. Well, apparently, it exposes the neck, which when you tilt your head. I know I'm doing it, and people can't see this, but I'm doing it on camera here, aren't I?
Did you do that when Sophie's train was pulling out of Maidstone East?
that was full of anger and tension. She didn't tilt her head, exposing her vulnerabilities. She just got on the train, and I was going to swear then. Anyway, yeah, went away. But also, you see it when if you're in a conversation with someone and they tilt their head, it's perceived as they're sort of they're interested in what you're saying. They're attentive. They're caring. And they don't have an agenda. They are properly listening in on you.
Yes. So it's a connecting action, isn't it?
It is, and I observe that when I'm running groups. I observe that all the time. If I can see people do tilt their head, I see it as a good sign. But I also do it to other people as well. I do it consciously. Do you ever find there are people in your groups who are fast asleep? Oh, yes, yes, it does happen. Yeah,
yeah, it does, doesn't it? I can remember doing, on occasions you'd be doing a presentation more in the corporate world, and you'd look out into the audience, and there'd be someone getting some Zs in. You think, that used to be a bit difficult. I didn't used to like that very much.
No, it is disrespectful. I was reading a story about in North Korea, where I can't remember his name. I can never pronounce his name. The leader of North Korea, Kim.
Yeah, him. We all know who you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, him.
I better not say it wrong because I'll probably get targeted by the North Koreans, won't I?
You get whacked, won't you? Yeah. But apparently, if he's addressing people, and if someone sort of nods off in the audience, they're taken outside and shot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why I want to be careful about pronouncing his name correctly.
Absolutely, yeah. There'll be a hit squad after you.
Yeah.
I think we're big in North Korea, aren't we?
Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah, that does seem a bit harsh. If you've had I don't know, if you've been carrying a bit of a virus,
Yeah.
and you think, oh, I'm going to show up to our great leader's presentation, and you just drop off for a moment, and you
Bang.
find yourself taking out a shot
Yeah, instantly.
like a lame horse.
There's no right of appeal. Bang, dead.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's not good, is it?
it's not good. Not good. Now, just going to look at the eyes. I know we talked about facial leakage, so I don't want to spend too much time on here, but the blocking of the eyes or covering of the eyes can express emotions like frustration and worry. And I've known people that won't, or they'll keep their eyes closed when they're talking to you, or look down constantly and have no eye contact at all. I want to come on to eye contact in a minute, but covering the eyes. I've known people again that will hold their hands up against their eyes.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually a sign of distress, isn't it? In some respects,
It is, yeah.
Or something's just flown into my eye.
That could be that, couldn't it? But sometimes the eyes narrow, don't they? Show determination.
Yeah, or displeasure.
Yeah, or displeasure on the eye, or flutter the eyes.
Or disbelief.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
Quite often when you're talking, I narrow my eyes thinking,
Yeah, what's he going on about?
surely that's not right, is it?
Yeah. I know you sometimes you flutter your eyelids to show that you're feeling a bit embarrassed about stuff, which apparently is a sign of embarrassment. Flutter quickly. But anyway, yes. Going back to the neck. So just touching.
Going back to the neck, we haven't been to the neck yet.
We talked about the neck being.
Oh yes,
been
that's
exposed.
right. Elongating the neck.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You lost interest already before I got to this part.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't dropped off.
You need to be taken outside and seen to properly. That sort of attitude. Yeah, touching your neck.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, when you're stressed out, touching or stroking the neck signifies a pacifying behaviour. So I think people, look, you rub your neck, don't you? Sometimes like that, back and the sides and apparently under the chin. If you stroke under the chin there.
That's chinny reckon, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, if you do it like that, Jimmy Hill reckon.
Yeah,
Jimmy Hill reckon.
That's definitely an indication of disbelief.
It is. That's disbelief. But if you stroke the fleshy bit under your chin, under there.
Yeah.
If you stroke that, it's got nerve endings, and stroking it lowers the heart rate and calms
That's
you.
interesting. I didn't know that, and I don't think I do that. I mean, I do that if I feel like my stubble's getting a bit long and it's making my chin a bit itchy.
Yeah.
Itchy chin.
Chin.
Yeah, I don't think I do that. So the next time I feel a bit stressed, I'm going to stroke my chin.
Stroke under
what
there.
happens. Stroke my neck.
Because I remember when I was
Jimmy Hill.
Yeah, when I was thinking about it, because I remember my dad often used to do that. He'd elongate his chin towards the sky and just stroke under there. And I think my older brother does it the same. Yeah. So perhaps they were a bit stressy at the time. They wanted to lower their heart rate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, could be.
So I'm going to move on to the hands now.
Yeah.
Because the hands can reveal a lot about how you're feeling and what you're doing.
Especially if they're clenched into fists.
Well, that's it. When I was doing the research, it says when you feel confident, the space between your fingers grows, but that lessens when you feel insecure. So that is the sort of a clenched fist sort of thing. And rubbing the hands obviously is a classic sign of stress, isn't it? But there's another phrase I come across was steepling the fingers. You come across that? We steeple
like
them
this, like this.
like that.
Yeah, or like this.
Or like that, I was thinking. I don't know which steeple. It didn't
Well,
say
that's
what
a steeple, isn't it? It's like that
It is.
little thing. Here's a church, here's the steeple, open the doors and here come the people.
Yeah. But because I can often sit like that, steep. I don't know if that was steepling or not, but yeah.
I'm a terrible fidget with my hands. As you know, I like to have my peg. In fact, I can't find my peg. My peg's disappeared. So I'll tell you when I have trouble with my hands, and that's if I'm standing up somewhere. If I can't put my hands in my pockets, then they feel. I find them particularly noticeable. I think, well, what am I going to do with my hands? This is quite. Do you feel that, or do you not have any problem with that? Sort of hanging them by your side or whatever.
No, I often like to pop them in my pockets. I must admit, but is that Are we showing signs of stress when we're doing that, or?
I don't know. I just find that a little bit uncomfortable, and I wondered whether that was me or whether that was a general sort of feeling. If I don't know if can't think of an example now. However, a gig is actually quite a good example.
Yeah.
If you're sort of standing up for a long time, you don't really want to put your hands in your pockets constantly, do you?
No, you
if
don't.
I haven't got my hands in my pockets, I think, what am I supposed to do with these? It's like I want to unscrew them, pop them somewhere in my bag or something,
I think
I can't really describe it better than that. It's just a bit of an odd feeling. They feel as if they're an unnecessary encumbrance.
Yeah, I think if you put them I don't know how you were brought up, but my parents always used to say, don't put your hands in your pockets. It was disrespectful to do that, which shows disinterest. It was slovenly. My dad used to call it a slovenly gait. If you walked around with your hands in your pockets. I can't remember
what I was told about putting my hands in my pockets, but I probably wouldn't have listened anyway. So
I remember my dad being quite. Do you remember the parkas that people used to wear, and the pockets were half. Yeah. The pockets were on your chest almost, so you could walk around with your hands up in the pockets.
like here.
Yeah. And my dad, he was distraught when they came out and people walking around with their hands up in those high pockets. He thought it was a terribly un-British.
Yeah, I can understand. That would have been distressing for him, I imagine.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so hands in pockets. It's always told to me that it was a bad thing to do, and it was disrespect, slovenly behaviour.
Well, I don't know what else you're supposed to do with your hands. I mean, surely that's what pockets are for, aren't they?
Well, they are. My dad used to say they're to put things in, not your hands.
See, I don't like putting things in my pockets particularly.
No.
I certainly don't like having full pockets. The worst is having, it doesn't happen now, does it? But putting change in your pockets. Oh, my God, yeah. That is just horrendous.
But I quite like those jackets where they have a pocket, but then they've got little slots behind the pocket you can put your hands into.
Yes, now you're talking. Yeah. Because then you've got the best of both worlds, haven't you?
Yes, you have. Yes,
you can put something in your pouch, but you can also put your hands in your pockets.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's it. You solved the problem for me. That's the sort of accoutrement I need to have at a gig. It is. I need to make sure I've got the right jacket on.
Yeah. Well, I used to find it awkward if I was standing there not without a drink in my hand. That used to be a problem.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. If I've got a drink, it's not a problem.
No, it isn't, no.
But if I haven't got a drink...
And you don't know what to do with them.
There you go. It's gigs. Gigs are responsible for people drinking too much.
They are. So you have a drink in one hand. They don't know what
to do with their hands, do they?
Well, you do have a drink in one hand and a tab in the others, wouldn't you? And have a little...
Back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah. Anyway, where did we get to? Yes, a light touch. Staying with the hands at the moment. If you put a light touch on someone's arm, do you like that or not?
Depends who it is.
Yeah. Well, apparently it is in some cultures, it's very much it conveys harmony and trust. But I quite like it. If someone touches me on the arm, I feel, if you're having a conversation, just they're going to go just on their way to tap you on the arm, or when they start to talk to you, tap you on it. I don't know. It feels really friendly.
Yeah, I don't really like it actually.
No, I didn't think
now I'm
you
thinking
would.
about it. I don't really. I mean, I'm fine with touching people that I know really well, but I wouldn't want someone who doesn't know me to be touching me.
No.
Get off.
Yeah, just a light touch on the arm conveys real friend.
No touch on the arm. Keep your hands to yourself. I'm calling the police.
Well, that's an extra. Yeah, especially if you're wearing yellow.
Keep your hands in your pockets. I don't want them on my arm.
Well, we know where we stand with you now, don't we?
Yeah. No, I can't really think of any specific examples, but the thought of it, I don't find appealing.
No.
Don't approach me.
No. I certainly won't. And let's put that one to bed. Now, this thing I came across next, which I don't think I've ever done, but when you're standing, crossing your legs whilst you're standing up.
Oh, yeah, I definitely do this.
Do you?
Yeah, I used to notice when I was younger, my brother had this way. If he was standing up, he would cross his legs in a way that kind of made them look quite awkward.
Yeah.
And I used to notice that as a kid, and I noticed as I grew older that I did it too, and I definitely do that. And I don't know why other people do it, but I do it because it's comfortable. It feels like the most comfortable way for me to stand.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps I do, but I don't recall it. I know models do it, don't they? Because it looks like it elongates.
That's probably why I do it then.
It elongates the legs. I think, the female model, I think, rather than the male. But yeah, it could work both ways.
Yeah, no, I definitely find it the most comfortable way to stand. If I've got to stand for any length of time, I will definitely do that.
Apparently, it's very good. I mean, it shows you're interested in what the other person has to say, and apparently,
does it?
Yeah, and it also means take your time. It's cross legs will say that you're comfortable with the other person.
Right, and I'm kind of here for the duration, listening to you.
Yeah.
Right, well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I learned. I didn't know that either. So that was.
Perhaps you're not really interested in what anybody's saying.
Perhaps I never have been.
No. Perhaps you haven't got any patience and you don't really care about what anyone's telling you.
Yeah. No, that's probably true. No, but it's a trick I'm going to try to integrate into my body language.
Well, next time you're around, I'll show you how to do it.
Show me how to stand. It feels like it's going to be awkward, but
Well, I'll show you how to do it, and you can model it.
I can mirror you.
We were talking about that earlier. If you want to do something, model someone who does it well.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Fidgety hands.
Well, yeah, I've got those.
Yeah. Well, apparently you can convey a feeling neutral about something. I mean, fidgety hands normally mean anxiousness or boredom, and crossing the arms and legs is considered initially a closed position.
Yeah, I think this is bullshit.
Yeah, well, apparently, we're sitting with your arms open invites the other person in.
I mean, I know this is a very well-trodden path in terms of body language, but I don't think it's right. I think when people cross their arms, or cross their legs, or cross their arms and legs, and adopt what one might consider to be a closed body position. A lot of people do that because it's just comfortable.
They do, yes. I'm sure I've got something on that further on down my notes. I'll come on to that in a minute. Because, here it is. Yeah, most people think that crossed arms are a sign of aggression or refusal to cooperate. In fact, crossed arms can signal many other things, including anxiety, self-restraint, and even interest, if the person crossing their arms is mirroring someone who's doing the same. So you're right.
Yeah, so essentially what it says is mirroring your arms could mean anything.
Yes, it can.
Crossing your arms could mean anything, therefore don't read anything into it.
Yeah, quite.
And in terms of fidgeting with hands, I am absolutely certain that I fidget with my hands because it helps me concentrate.
Yeah.
So that's why I do it. If I'm thinking about something and, reflecting or trying to think something through, I will inevitably be fidgeting with my hands because it just helps me focus.
I agree. I agree.
I'm fidgeting right now as we're talking with an interdental brush.
Oh, yeah. You've got a fidget toy as well, haven't you?
I don't think I've got a fidget toy, but I can always find something to fidget with. There's always something that feels okay to fidget with. Usually a peg.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah. No, I quite like a pen. But you can
pens all right. Pencils, lovely.
Yeah,
it needs to be something that feels nice, that has a nice sort of tactile quality.
Yeah, a level of tactility which you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
But I was reading, just going on from the hands, but on to the arms, and it said it, and it didn't qualify this, but in the research, but it said keeping your arms akimbo may telegraph arrogance. What do you say akimbo was? Is it up like that? Just
Why? Who goes around like that?
I don't know, but I think it's if you do it if you're trying to. You see it with the football sometimes with fans, don't you? Opening their arms like akimbo and they say, "Come on, come on, come on."
Yeah.
Let's have it.
I don't think. I mean, I don't notice people doing that, standing with their arms wide open. I mean,
not. Apparently, it does show an arrogance. It's aggressive. Yeah.
Well, it just looks stupid.
It does look.
I mean, if that's something you do, then don't do it. That'd be my advice.
Unless you're at the football taunting the other set of fans.
Yeah, but you shouldn't really do that either.
No,
let's all be friends.
That's it, yes.
Encourage one another.
We're all part of the football family and no need to strike each other.
Exactly.
Anyway, where were we? Yeah, you throw me off. Yeah, so, shaking hands. Now, that's quite an interesting one. I was always taught, that a weak handshake is a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
You're always taught, again, in the sales environment, to have a strong handshake. Not squeeze too hard because that shows overt dominance, but just to have a firm handshake.
Yeah, I agree with that. I am slightly put off by a very limp handshake.
Yeah.
No, probably for no other reason than you've just cited, that's kind of how I was taught. And I like a handshake, and a firm handshake is is nice. Preferably not with a clammy hand.
No, that's not very nice. But apparently, some backgrounds, some cultures, a gentle handshake is the norm. So quite a weak one. So we have to be aware. Yeah, have to be aware of that. But yeah, no, I've always used a firm grip, firm handshake. But apparently, the right way to shake hands is to shake your hands firmly, but whilst making eye contact. Yeah. Now, this is an interesting one. It's not on my notes, but how long do you think? I mean, eye contact. How long do you hold it for? There must be an optimum
I'm
time.
completely the wrong person to ask because I'm terrible with eye contact. I don't like it.
No, you don't. No, but I've noticed that.
I think I've said before, I always position myself when I'm working somewhere where I can look out of a window, because if I was just sort of staring at a wall rather than looking at someone's eyes, that looks kind of rude.
Yeah.
And it looks less rude if I'm kind of looking out of the window, although I was challenged once by one of my clients. He says, "You keep looking away, you're not interested in what I'm saying." And I said to him, no, it's not that at all. That's how it's like fidgeting with my fingers, it's how I focus.
Yeah,
I can't focus if I've got to stare into someone's eyes for ages. That's not going to work for me at all.
No, I think there is an optimum time, isn't it? And it probably differs with changes with different people as to how close you are with that person. But yeah, eye contact, very tricky for a lot of people.
Yeah, I imagine you find when you're running groups, particularly with people who are new in rehab, that their ability to engage people with eye contact increases over time.
Yeah, it does. And you see that the body language of people in early recovery, when they first come into rehab, often they'll come in, they have the hood up. They may even have sunglasses on or whatever, and they'll keep their head bowed in the early group sessions we're running. And gradually over the time, the hood comes down, the glasses come off, and you see they've got a much more open demeanour. Sometimes they sit almost with their head in their hands in the early stages, but as time goes on, that comes back.
Do you reference that when you see that happening with people?
No, I reference it to myself and engage it, but I don't bring it out in groups and say, "Oh, sit up straight."
No, I don't mean like that. I mean, when you see someone sort of emerging.
Yeah.
I wonder if you ever say to someone, either in a group or privately, it's really nice to see you kind of emerging.
I do. I often say, not in group, but I'll take them to one side and say, "Do you know what? I've seen a real change in you, and this is your hood's
because I think that's the sort of thing that will encourage a change, won't it?
Absolutely.
People often feel emboldened by someone noticing that and someone seeing it as a positive.
Yeah, No, I always mark it. I think it is a good thing to do.
Do you mark it with arms akimbo?
Yeah, come on then.
A show of arrogance.
I touch them lightly on the arm. Show interest. Shoulders. I'm going to go on to the shoulders now.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah.
Go on. Are we doing every body part?
No, I've nearly finished now. Shoulders. Now, this is gender specific, really, but so we take this as you will. In males, apparently, wide shoulders and narrow hips are associated with strength and vitality, which is reflected in everything from the form of Greek statues to padded shoulders in men's suit jackets.
Isn't that really that's more physique, isn't it?
It is
body
really.
Language.
Yeah.
But I suppose it is. I suppose what you're saying there is that your physique is in and of itself a language.
It is. If you hold your shoulders up and straight and hold your shoulders back. Again, and my dad always used to say to me, "Put your shoulders back." It's slovenly if you're slumped forward, and it conveys sort of dominance and apparently relative status within a hierarchy.
So if you're the other way round, so you have kind of narrow shoulders and a broad waist, that means you're eating too many crisps.
It's exactly that. Yes,
right.
I think that's body language you can't really change over in an instant. You've got to get yourself on a diet. But I remember once a guy came to work in the office I was working at back in the 80s, and he'd just come back he'd left the army, he'd come back from the Falklands, and you see him striding up the street towards the office. With a sort of an umbrella in his hand, tapping it on the floor as he walked on. His shoulders were right back, and he looked a dominant force. The way he used to stride about, you think, blimey, I don't want to tackle him. And again, apparently, this is something that's not in this research, but I remember reading before you can tell someone's age by the way their shoulders are either stooped over or held back as well.
Oh, really?
If you want to appear younger, make sure when you're walking along you're upright with your shoulders back, and you'll appear younger.
Right, I'm going to try that and see if people stop me and say, "Hey, young man."
Yeah, you look young today.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really it, apart from when someone's deeply distressed.
Yeah.
When someone either freezes in place or rocks back and forth, which is the sort of classic thing you see in sort of films like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or anything like that, don't you? Where people do rock back and forth as a, well, it's called a reserved behaviour. It's only used when people experience extreme stress.
Yeah.
Or contorting into the fetal position. Not that you can do that along the street and you suddenly curl up on the floor.
Not particularly easily.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't come across people doing that very often. Sometimes people can be a bit like that when they're having a panic attack.
Yes. Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, normally facial expressions alone tell you if someone's in distress. Really, you can tell, kind of, it's etched into their face.
Yeah, well, it's a kind of interesting sort of manifestation of. It's almost like a desperation for self-soothing, isn't it? In a way.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go onto the lips to any great extent, but I think they can. When you purse or suck your lips, that can give off all sorts of signals, can't it?
Yeah, you curl yourself into a fetal position after West Ham's results come in, don't you?
I do it beforehand. I'm ready for it. I do rock back and forth when final score comes on the TV. Yeah. So apparently, it's quite difficult to hide our feelings. Our body language does give, as social animals, we're evolved to display emotions. And apparently, the display of emotions, thoughts, and intentions, all of which are processed by the brain's limbic system. Didn't know that word. It reminded me of Limbic Opic, the old former.
Didn't he go out with the cheeky girls?
He had a colourful love life, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, which was, I mean, I shouldn't really say this, but it was surprising, really, to look at him, wasn't it?
It was really, yes. Yeah.
But there you go. Appearances can be deceptive.
They can.
Which is kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think he walked with his shoulders back and pulled all the younger. Yeah, all the girls
said
he was way younger than he was. Well, it may have been the size of his wallet. Let's not go there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but maybe he was just a really lovely man.
Really nice chap. Yeah.
Yeah. Possible, isn't it?
He hid it well in that case. Apart from those he wanted to impress. So that's it, really. I mean, I think its body language is uniquely capable of revealing how someone feels, but only if the other person is schooled in understanding what the gestures indicate. So that's why I just wanted to put to bed some of the myths and to open up some of the other areas to look at.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's been sadly lost a little bit as more and more therapy has gone online.
Yeah,
you lose some of that body language. I mean, obviously you can still see people, but you're not seeing all of them. You're only seeing head and shoulders.
Yeah,
and so there's actually quite a lot lost in and there's also something quite powerful in the proximity. Being in a room with someone, and what you take from body language there. So, if you're looking at kind of downsides of more online therapy, then that's definitely one of them.
You certainly can't see if they've got their legs crossed.
No. And you probably can't see if they've got their arms akimbo. And you can't touch them gently on the arm, which is a plus.
Oh, that's gone, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's really it. But I thought it was quite an interesting march through some of those bits.
Yeah,
very good. Shortened it down from some of the research I was reading, but I think hopefully we've done it a bit of justice.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you shortened it down. Otherwise, I'd probably have fallen asleep and then I'd have been taken out and shot.
You'd have shown your disinterest, ending up in your early demise. Yeah. So that's it, really. It's normally, but at this point, we go on to the conundrum feature. And well,
funny enough, I've got one that's kind of relevant.
Okay, good. Oh, well, that's even better. You put a bit of thought into it.
Well, I didn't. I was just looking at them this morning. I thought, this one might fit with. I didn't really know what you wanted to talk about, but I thought this one's kind of going to fit. Is it legitimately okay not to help someone who just fell over because you're laughing too much?
Is it okay because you're laughing too much? Yeah, you shouldn't really be laughing.
Well, yeah, I know you shouldn't, but,
Yeah.
as we both know, there have been a number of occasions where this has happened. And I don't think on any occasion that I can think of, the person was actually seriously hurt.
No,
I don't know if I'd be capable of stepping in, because it is funny, isn't it, when you see someone go over?
It is.
Well, in certain circumstances, I mean, someone just tripping and going over, that's not, I mean, that's not quite the same. But in some circumstances, I think a lot of people have this difficulty because it is, television programs are made about it, aren't they? People falling over and having mishaps.
They are, I think.
So there's this kind of conflict between the part of you that wants to behave like an upstanding citizen and the part of you that is doubled up with laughter.
It is. I mean, in those circumstances, normally you can quell your laughter until you've helped them up and have a proper cackle afterwards. I think that's the way I'd deal with it.
Yeah, well, you didn't do that in McDonald's that time. That woman went over.
No, I think I wasn't close enough to help her.
She was right next to us.
Well, there's other people there helping her.
Were you with me? Were you with me the time, or was it Paul I was with when someone fell off a bus and all of her oranges started rolling down the road?
No, it wasn't me. No.
I mean, the whole kind of circumstance was unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's quite useful if there are other people around that can kind of step in as well.
Yeah. I mean,
you wouldn't want to be on your own in that situation, would you?
No, you wouldn't. And I think normally people are, certainly if you're in town and you fall over, there's plenty of people around to help you up. People are generally concerned, but again, they'll probably laugh afterwards.
Yeah.
Once you've assessed the extent of the injuries, you can afford a bit of laughter or perhaps a concern. You judge it then.
I don't know if I'd be able to help you up if you fell over.
I definitely wouldn't bother with you. I'd stamp on you. Keep you down there. Whilst laughing.
I don't know if I've ever seen you fall over, actually.
No, I don't think I've seen you fall over. Obviously, when we used to play football, it was
but that's not the same, is it?
No. Not in the street, no.
No. That's a shame.
At our advanced ages, it becomes more serious, though, doesn't it?
That's right. It's the sort of thing I put on my bucket list.
We don't
I want to see Martin fall over before I die.
See what I can do. Leave it with me.
Well, I suppose we had a good chance when I got you to run down that hill up from the Alexandra Palace.
I could have fallen over easily then. I think I fell over back in the day when I was in the madness more and I was unsteady on my feet a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, that isn't as funny.
No, it's not, is it?
No. I mean, there's a healthy element of pathos there, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and I think it is. Yes, it's there's a element of sadness attached to it.
Anyway, I think you've put us straight. What you're basically saying is no, hold your laughter in, help, and then have a good chuckle afterwards when you know that there's been no damage done.
Yeah, you've assessed it.
That sounds like a reasonable plan.
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go on to the gratitude list then.
All right, you go first this week.
Yeah, mine's straightforward, and I'll probably have this the same time each year, but I was very grateful my car went through the MOT. Even though it's a new car now, or a newer car than I had before, you still have that slight panic about it, don't you? When you
have you just had it this past week then?
Yeah, I did Thursday. When MOT.
Well, I had my MOT on Monday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Were you grateful it went through? I'm assuming it went through.
It went through. It's the first time I can ever remember not having any advisories.
Yeah, that was the same with mine as well.
I mean, that felt like cause for celebration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hope you didn't rush down the pub.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I was just pleased to go and pick my car up again when he said, "Oh, it's okay. It's all done. Come and pick it up."
Did you feel slightly trepidatious when the phone rang?
No, actually, I rang him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was your heart beating slightly faster?
It always does, doesn't it? He said ring about 12, and I think, shall I leave it? So I hit ringing bang on 12. Am I sounding too anxious? Is my body language, my telephone language is bad?
When you went to pick it up, did you stroke him gently on the arm?
No, I didn't, no. No, he's a miserable sod. You know the man I mean.
Oh, I do, yeah. Oh, God, yeah, you wouldn't stroke him gently on the arm, would
No,
you?
he wouldn't, no. Very good mechanic, but miserable as hell. Miserable as sin, I should say.
Very good. No, I'm glad. I'm pleased for you.
Yeah, and I'm pleased
it's always a relief, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Is that not on your gratitude list than MOT
No, it
passing?
isn't, funnily enough. No. On my gratitude list, I actually had some sort of real-time live gratitude this morning because I was out with the dogs and I was over in Bearsted in the Woodland Trust, and it was very frosty and the sun was just coming up, and there was nobody around, and I was playing ball with Nelly, and I just had that sort of moment of, crikey, it's one of those moments where you just feel genuinely grateful to be alive. You kind of look around, you think, wow, this is really nice. Do you know what I mean? Those kind of, those moments where suddenly everything feels as if it's...
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a moment.
So I thought to myself, oh, that's what I'll share this morning. Just one of those little experiences of.
Where's euphoria, isn't it?
It's euphoria, yeah.
It's sort of natural euphoria.
Yeah, I thought after that feeling, I'm bound to tread in some poo or something, just to bring me back down to earth. But I didn't.
Yeah. No, I remember that. It's rare you have those moments, I think, but certainly. I remember walking out during COVID when there's no cars on the road, and the sun was a lovely warm day, and I was walking along, there was silence, and I was out in nature.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling of euphoria then, even though it was in the middle of a pandemic. It was a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's worth kind of cultivating the ability to notice those moments.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, that's good gratitude. Best-selling singles.
Yeah.
You're all right with that? 82, 92 and 2002 I've gone for.
Right. I'll have no idea any of them anyway.
Okay. Well, I'll give you I'll give you the artist. I think it's the easiest way to do it. I'll be faff around forever otherwise. Just going by previous experience. That's not having a go at you. It's just...
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're having a go at me, but anyway,
no, I'm not. I'm really not. It's just...
that's what you say, but, it's disappointing.
All right, well, I'll give you a chance. In 1982, who do you reckon which group had the best-selling single that year?
I don't know. You'll have to tell me the artist.
Exactly. It was Dexys Midnight Runners.
Come on, Eileen.
Exactly. Yeah, straightforward, isn't it? Once you know that, makes it easier.
Lovely. I didn't like that. I never liked that much.
That certainly played so much at the time, wasn't it? I don't know how long it's been at one point, but best-selling single of the year shows that.
Yeah, I can see what it would have been. Yeah.
Yeah. 1992.
Oh, we're not doing FA Cups.
No, I'm going to do the best-selling singles first, and then do it.
Oh, blimey! So you're really playing around with the format, aren't you?
I am a little bit, yeah.
92. No, you'll have to give me the artist.
Whitney Houston.
I Will Always Love You.
I Will Always Love You. So that's number 5 points for you.
Oh, I like this. I like the way we're doing this. This is good because it's actually making me look as if I know what I'm talking about.
Well, exactly, yeah. And 2002.
This is going to bring me back down to earth.
Starts to get a bit trickier then, doesn't it? It still seems very recent to me, 2000s, even though it's 20-odd years ago.
Who's the artist?
Will Young.
Oh, I don't know any of his songs.
No, Evergreen.
I was going to say something with green in the title because I could remember something, but I wouldn't have known it was called that.
No,
he's very keen on gardening,
Evergreen. Hey.
No, he is. Genuinely, he's a very keen amateur gardener, Will Young.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Well, that's good. You've learned something today as well.
I have, yeah. Right. Not overly useful, but I'm sure all knowledge is power. Okay, yeah. 82 then. Cup final, 82.
But do you know what? I think I might remember this one.
Okay.
I think it was Manchester United.
No, you don't remember it in that case.
Was it Arsenal?
No.
Oh. I don't remember it then.
It was one that went to a replay.
Was it Coventry?
No.
Spurs?
It was Spurs, yeah.
Probably shouldn't get any points for that.
No, can't give you points for that. Do you know who they're playing?
No.
It's quite unusual.
Who did they play?
They play QPR in the final.
Oh, I would never, ever have got that.
Yeah.
Was Stan Bowles playing?
It was in the replay. I don't know. He's past his time by that
yeah,
stage.
Probably had, hasn't he?
Yeah, so 1992. See, I don't really remember this one in 1992.
Was that Manchester United?
No.
Was it Arsenal?
No.
Was it Wolverhampton Wanderers?
No.
I don't know then. Who was it?
It was Liverpool.
92, Liverpool. Everton?
No.
Don't know.
Sunderland. I don't remember this final.
I don't remember. That didn't even happen. You made that up.
They won 2-0, but no, I don't remember that one.
No, that definitely didn't happen in 1992.
And 2002?
Was it Manchester United?
No.
Was it Arsenal?
It was Arsenal, yeah.
Hey! Arsenal beat Chelsea.
They did.
Oh, magnificent. And the score was 2-1.
2-0, unfortunately.
Oh, I was going to say 2-0.
You got both the teams, even though Arsenal was the second choice. So you got 20 points anyway. That's not
that's
bad.
pretty good.
Not bad.
Pretty good. I'm reasonably pleased with that.
Well, I wanted to cut this one down a bit because it takes too long, I think. So I wanted to cut it down.
Yeah, we've still almost gone on for an hour.
Have we? Yeah. But so that's it, mate.
All right. Well, that's probably enough, isn't it, for one morning?
I'm folding my papers like a newsreader.
Yeah, you look a bit like Fiona Bruce.
Good work.
All right. See you next time.
Nice one. Thanks, mate.
Laters.
Bye.
Bye. Sideways was created by Graham Landy and Martin Pankhurst. If you want to read more about our work or sort through the extensive archive of past episodes, just visit grahamlandywellbeing.co.uk/sideways-podcast. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram at Sideways Podcast, and you can email us if you have a question or if there's something you'd like us to cover. But most of all, we want to tell you how grateful we are that you come and listen, and we ask that if you've enjoyed what you've heard, that you spread the word. And we'll see you next week.